Ask anyone from the Industrial Revolution. At best, factories are not fun. They're filthy, hazardous, boring places. I have the shell of one here, left behind by a previous player who never even got to experience the benefits of mass production at the tiny hands of starving children. It's just been sitting here, a mass of bricks and granite with a kelp farm underneath. I was standing around staring at the dried kelp flying out of this pipe I made when I was bored the other day. There was something very satisfying about the way the kelp was just flying out of the bubble column like that. I could watch this all day, I thought. I wish this whole build were nothing but items flying around and going places. And finally, I knew what to do with this building. This is my forever world. The world itself used to be a multiplayer server I was on a couple years ago, but I've been continuing it as a single-player world ever since. But, before I get into the main project for this episode, there's a new addition to the map I'd like to show you. This new area is called the Nostalgia Archipelago. I was clearing up space on my old laptop the other day, ready to wipe it and get rid of it, and to my surprise there were still a few world backups on it. Not updated to the last time I played on them, not even close really, but they did take me back to places I'd almost forgotten about. This is island number 1, I believe it's the earliest in the timeline, and all these islands harken back to a simpler playstyle where I wasn't really focused on making things super pretty or maximizing my efficiency for things. I was just sort of puttering. I only had so much time on the computer anyway, so there wasn't a lot of time to make things perfect. But if we go down here, we've got a villager breeder with only one villager. I assume that's just because of when this world was saved. Otherwise, you're looking pretty lonely. I will free you later, I guess. This is my base. This hill and this iron door. Just gotta keep the monsters out, you know. This is my base. This is the whole darn thing, at least as of when this world was saved. We've got my storage. Of course, we got the anvil next to the bed, a very classy move. Okay, we've got an aquarium with a salmon and a cod. Okay, so this is just when the update Aquatic had just come out, so we've got kelp. So man, that was... Gosh, that was a while ago. It is still one of my favorite updates. I think it just added so much to the game. This is my very rudimentary looking mob farm. Well, clearly this was a way of doing things. I remember it working, to be fair. It did do something. Yeah, there you go, we got some drops. And then, okay, so you can tell this was the update Aquatic because the fish farm was all the rage at the time. I'm pretty sure all of the builds you're gonna see here will have a fish farm in them just because they were so good at the time. Next up we've got, and you can tell it's a little rough when I copy and paste these things into this world. But we've got island number 2. First thing you'll notice is the fish farm, of course. But we've got this weird rock formation here, and I don't really know why I decided to build here. It's kind of ugly. And yet I can't help but like it. I can't help but feel nostalgic anyway. All of this water I remember adding here. This waterfall was all me. Obviously the wheat field, but look at this build style. It's not... You can tell I wasn't going for any particular theme. I was just working with what I had. Just sort of improvising as I went along. I really like it. These were just so much simpler days for some reason. I don't know. It's kind of funny. It's got an M for marbles. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. I highly doubt it. Kind of a weird mudroom area. I remember my enchanters in here with Cerberus, who was my dog at the time, and I guess now still is, huh? Yeah, you're still my dog. And this is the main room that I lived in. Okay, so I was kind of going for more of a decorated vibe. I've actually got my bed away from the anvil for once. That's nice. How did I live with this much noise? Bathroom is the most decorated room in the whole building, it looks like. The reason it's so loud is because I got the smelter down here, so you can see I was kind of improving a bit. Things were getting more efficient, things were getting more decorated. Okay, so back here, these holes were all... You would fall down to a certain level, and then you would just go to a different room. So this one would be for potions, this one would be a bedroom, this one would be a library, etc. It's really unfortunate I don't have those parts of the build. I remember working really hard on this base. In fact, this whole enchanting room, this was moved, and then this whole part was knocked out here to make room for a balcony out here. It was so much fun. And lastly, although this should have been in the middle of the tour in retrospect, because I think it's in the middle of the timeline, is this build right here. It is, if I remember correctly, I was living in what was supposed to be a ruined or an abandoned castle, or maybe a monastery. I've got a weird-looking iron farm over here. I'm gonna set these guys free later, again, just because I don't need to treat them this way. I'm assuming there was a zombie in this cauldron. Oh, okay. So yeah, the golems would spawn up there, fall down here, they would burn to death. Everything would go into this chest. Nah, well, that's fine. Let's see. Still using very rudimentary materials, because that's all I had. But I kind of like that it was all beachside. Okay, so I was getting into detailing more. That's nice. Supposed to be some sort of fountain that had long been emptied. I'm sorry, the rain is just distracting me. Hold on. Hold. That's not the door. Apparently that's the door. Sure. Okay, rain be gone. Rain be gone. Look, I like the rain when I'm playing. I really do. Just not when I'm recording. I can't think. Okay, thank you. Gosh. Okay, here's the main room, I guess. Again, fish farm, staple, enchantment setup. This is a cobblestone farm. Yep, there we go. Oh, I'm using smithing tables? Alright, that was pretty fancy. If I remember correctly, then that means it would be on the other side too. Yeah, where the portal room is. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Down here is my storage room. Anvil away from the bed. That's great. So, garbage can. I could honestly use one of those. Well, I'm kind of a hoarder now. I don't know if there's too much else going on around here. Okay, I was starting to add some block variety. And I got blown up by creepers a lot, apparently. Oh my goodness. Not a fan of these floating trees, though. All of these worlds remind me of a much different time and a much different way I was playing Minecraft. I still don't build things like this, whoever built this slime farm here, but I just sort of puttered. Like I said, I just did whatever when I felt like it. I wasn't really maximizing anything. Alright, I think it's time to talk about something after I feed my cat. Here you go, Clementine. Okay. So. Well, this thing. We need to talk about this thing. Apparently I left my redstone shulker box in the factory, which we're visiting later, for obvious reasons. You remember the intro of this video. But before I got into that, I wanted to talk about my feelings about automation in Minecraft. It's always been something I've been on the fence about. It's just not really my playstyle. And yet, if we just look up, what is this? but a big ol' automated storage system, courtesy of Nembomb. So if I put anything in this chest, or in this shulker box unloader, eventually, it'll either make its way into one of these shulker boxes, or get filtered through here, get, packed into a shulker box by these shulker box unloaders. That's not supposed to be open. 1 minute. There we go. That's bulk storage, because this thing actually fills up, because these barrels just get... Oh, that's not... Alright, that should have fixed whatever error that was. What? Anyway, items that don't make it up there, come down here, get packed into a shulker box, get stuffed into a barrel for me to grab later. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 floors of just that. And then, if they don't make it into these barrels, they get sorted into these. And then, if they don't get sorted into these, which, by the way, if they don't make it into these barrels, hello? If they don't make it into these barrels, the items then get thrown up this item elevator to go back to the top, and then go all the way back down again. But if they don't make it into any of these sorted chests, they make it into these chests. So what's not to like about automation, right? It saves a lot of time, especially when I'm in between projects and I've just got all of this stuff to unload. When the Autocrafter was introduced, I did not think it belonged in Minecraft. It's always been a modded block that people seem to like, but I have never been into auto-crafting. However, it is now in the game, we might as well embrace it. Welcome back to my mess of a factory. It is already looking very industrial in here. This is a super smelter of my own design. I'm super proud of it. It's it's a 64 item smelter, and the minecarts go up this item elevator, and it's just fun to watch while it works. Wait for it. That's the kind of motion we need for this factory. Before I go on, I'd like to refer anyone else who's confused about Autocrafters to this video by Razeworks. It is amazing, and he designed almost all of the Autocrafters you're going to see in this video. Okay, thanks. Alright, I'm gonna do my best. I know I'm gonna butcher this. I had these all labeled. These were all explained to me in a way that I could understand. And now, because I've made the little animation, all of my signs are blank. So first we've got a packer. What? Huh? Oh, yeah. No, I'm not understanding. Why are you powered? What are you being powered by? Oh, okay. No, stop. Okay, cool. See, this is exactly why I didn't want to do this. Oh, is that how I broke it? Oh, okay. Aha! I fixed it. Okay. So that's the packager. Oh gosh. If I have this much trouble with all of these, this was the most fundamental one. Okay, now we've got the unpacker, which hopefully just unpacks things, right? Okay. Okay, good. That one works just fine. That's the unpacker. And then I can throw these back into the packer. Okay, good. So then, we've got this one for making items with 2 ingredients that are with a simple recipe, you know. I fixed it. So yeah, 2 ingredients. Very simple. 1 input here, 1 input there. You can stop making stuff now. But unfortunately, it doesn't work for all of the 2 ingredient recipes, so then we've got this one, which is only slightly more complex. Again, 2 item inputs here. What? Okay, I tried to demonstrate this one. I can't demonstrate this one because these hoppers need to be full so that these comparators turn off and that the crafter can be powered, but I don't have enough cobble and I don't have enough redstone on me right now, so just watch the video. It works. We have this crafter, which crafts from 3 ingredients, which is all I need here: the copper, the blaze rods, and the redstone dust to make the copper bulb. So there's 1 barrel for each input item. I'm sorry for the lag, my recording software doesn't like it apparently. And if I unpower this crafter, it should start spitting items out. There we go. And lastly, we have this crafter, which, unfortunately for me, will only be used to craft more crafters. So there's a dropper for every slot in the crafter. You put the ingredients in the order from left to right, top to bottom, and somehow they all get to where they need to go in the right order. Detect when the recipe is full, and auto-craft. And if your head is spinning right now, don't worry, mine is too. Still. But we're learning. Once I figured out what kind of crafters I needed, the next logical step was to spend 2 hours making myself a flowchart, which I'm still not even sure I can read. I'll give you a second now to pause and take a look, see if you can sort it out. Okay, here is my progress report. I tried to build the biggest crafter first, because I knew it would be the hardest and most complicated. And it's occurred to me that I could do a couple of things different already, so I'm going to amend those, but first let me walk you through what I do have. First up there, we've got the crafted that crafts the droppers. It's going to have another hopper, it's going to have a double chest like this and a hopper running out of it, so that I can actually get half of the hoppers out to, oh, the lag, half of the hoppers out to there, and half of the hoppers into here. And then this input splits redstone blocks into redstone dust. Again, I think that's going to be different in the final version of this factory setup, but for now it works. This crafts logs into planks, or does it? Hold on. Hold everything. Okay, so this assumes that I've already crafted the logs into planks. Not God. There. This assumes I've already crafted the logs into planks and crafts them into crafting tables, which are specific to this recipe only. This crafter here crafts iron blocks into iron, which then gets split among these 5 inputs here. Altogether, they create the crafting recipe for the crafter, so if I go turn on the lever, it should enable everything to start flowing through back in order, and there we go, we got a crafter. All in all, this project is going to be a process. It has already been a process. It has been a pain. It has been a painful process. Frankly, I feel like I'd be better off just doing things manually at this point, but in for a penny, in for a pound. I've recorded this much, so I might as well finish what I started. Oh, if only I knew. Alright, an even messier update. I now have all of these splitters in place for all of the items that need to be split between multiple inputs. This one gave me a lot of trouble. This one has to split items into 5, and the only way I know how to do that is with a minecart. This one is a 2, this one is a 4, this one's a 2, and then I just got these to put the honey and the slime in their places, although this one also needs to be split into 2. So, 1 second, there we go. And these will... Actually, this is already the crafter for the TNT, so the TNT is basically done, and we'll just need somewhere to output. We will deal with that probably next episode at the rate this project's going. My gosh! None of those splitters ended up working except for the minecart. And to add insult to injury, my microphone also decided to crap out while I recorded me explaining that failure. I didn't know this, of course, so I just kept recording clips with my microphone going the entire time. But the point is, I switched to the minecart system and just kept going. Eventually I had another crafter in place, and then had to figure out how to connect the resources to their crafters. It then occurred to me that I had seen other people using pots in their redstone hopper line, so I figured why not, and also while I was at it, why not do it the most painful way possible, which is by trying to crouch on scaffolding. If I sound unenthused, it's because I am completely done with this project by this point. Now I think, in all of this mess, all of the crafters should have been built for these redstone components. I think. I'm just doing a quick sweep. Oh, I forgot about the sticky piston. That's... it's fine. It's fine. I won't worry about it right now, actually. You know what? As far as components that I could have missed, that one is pretty minor. So, it's time for the part that I am actually the most scared about now that everything is in place. And that is putting the water in. Because water and redstone are a notoriously bad combination. And I'd like to make sure that it doesn't break everything I just spent all that time building. Okay, there's one. The rest of this video will have to take the form of a narration due to the aforementioned technical difficulties. All I'm doing here is warily placing the water streams in one at a time and hoping they don't wash away hours worth of progress. It turns out I did miss a spot, but thankfully it turned out to be harmless. Well, aside from making my heart skip a beat. Once the water streams were all in place, it was time to place the kelp so that they could all turn into bubble columns. What you won't see in this recording is the time I spent going through all of the hoppers afterward and picking the kelp out of the system. That being completed, there was nothing left to do but throw some resources into their streams and see what breaks. Works, of course. All of these barrels are temporary outputs, which will eventually be connected to the storage system opposite the monstrosity. That's where the fun part is going to come in, I'm hoping. But first, everything has to be functional. A lot of the crafters still won't fire until you fill the hoppers up all the way, so that was to be expected. Eventually I remembered the items were probably shooting out of the bubble columns at all angles, so I fixed that. And then came the crushing realization that I hadn't built anything to unpack the redstone blocks. You know, only the most essential of ingredients in the majority of redstone components. You are witnessing the approximate moment a small part of me died inside. So, in closing, parts of the monstrosity work, most of it doesn't, and I'm in over my head. I'm going to keep working on this project slowly in the background, but right now I need a break from it. So, if you're thinking of tackling a similar project, my advice to you is don't. Or at least, maybe try not to build all of it at once. Bye.